Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Pillars of Eternity 2. As I continue with my blind Let's Play.
Of course.
So, depending on what happens, I might have to split this up anyways, but this could be the final episode of this Let's Play. We'll see how long this goes. But I think I'm going to try to push for the end. Let's see. Okay, just making a mental note of what time it is on my end, just in case. Because if it starts to turn into like a 2-hour video, I need to split this up. I'm not gonna upload a 2-hour video, or at least I don't plan to. Let me put it that way. But I guess we'll see. Anyways, we should be ready now to go face Aethys and go to Kaizo and see what happens. And in case anybody hasn't saw the last video, I ended up siding with the Valians. If you want to see what all transpired, check the last video. But yeah, also, really interested whenever I play this again to see what the other faction outcomes would be, and also, just going alone as well. I also heavily considered that option as well. Alright. And we'll leave by sea. Alrighty. Oh, man, I just checked the party too. That's really funny. That's really funny. So, Maya's no longer on board. Maya's farewell. Dang it. Okay, I figured this might happen since what just transpired. So anyway, she says, "Captain, I have my gripes with the Navy from time to time, but I know we're here to do good work. Wish I could say the same about you. Someday you might learn what it means to be part of something important. You'll probably get yourself killed long before that revelation takes hold, but I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. You have a knack for survival that I admire. You're more than your busted up castle and twisted soul. You have the chance to be something incredible. The sooner you realize this, the sooner you can get to work on making Eora a better place with the rest of us. Best of luck, Maya." Below the signature, the parchment is marked with the indentation of a familiar talent. Gosh, that sucks. I'm not too surprised. Okay, so I guess that's where we need to go. Yep. I'm not too surprised given that we had to sabotage, Rautai and all that, but still. I'm curious. I'm now curious to know what the ending slides are going to say. Hopefully, we'll see what happens. Hopefully, if anything, I'm hoping Maya and Zodi work out. Like there's something still said that they, work out their relationship. Something. I would love that above all else at this point, regardless if Maya's on good terms with us or not. In a future playthrough of this game, though, I definitely want to, see about the other factions. And like I said, see about even going alone and whatnot. And like I said in the previous video, given the events of Pillars of Eternity 1, I kind of wanted to make it up to Pelagina this time, so... alrighty, so... we'll see about, finishing out the game. There's plenty of ocean to sail and many lands to explore, but what lies ahead of you dwarfs them all. Should you choose to sail on, you suspect there will be no return, not to the Deadfire you have come to know. You set a course through the channel and into the uncharted turbulent seas. Hunter's mortar rages on the horizon, a vast wall of roiling clouds and rain, punctuated by the silver flicker of lightning. The wind pushes against you. as if to ward whatever lies beyond from the Dow's approach. Dow leads the fleet, crashing through the turbulent waters like an axe through the armor. God's alive, handsome Elam mutters, staring up at the storm. Oswald blinks at the blackening sky. New and old Salt once, who claimed the mortar were the edge of the world. I called him a fool. Now, though, the navigator's head shakes sadly. Now I ain't so certain. Head bowed slightly, Ingram smiles. Today is a good day as any to learn what the gods have in store for us. Captain, one of the hands cries, hostile vessels unbowed to the forward port. With a shake of the head, Elam emits a grim chuckle. Suppose it'd be too much to ask to be let alone out here. The cross cannons of the Royal Deadfire Company flutter and crack atop the masts of the approaching warships, each vessel bristling with heavy guns. I am not surprised the Deadfire is coming after us. The approaching fleet numbers at least as many ships as your own, maybe more, probably more, given what we've seen in the past. Elam frowns against the wind. The fleet's turning, Captain, setting their guns ports against the enemy. Waving her hat over, Minnie whoops eagerly. Finally, some damned excitement. The hands look to you from their stations. Elam eyes hold yours. The crew stands ready. What are your orders, Captain? We could let them just duke it out. I'm tempted to do that, honestly. I'm going to look over to my companions first. Palgina calmly surveys the enemy fleet. Her golden eyes swivel to you and hold your gaze for several long seconds before she gives you a sharp nod and moves to a forward position. Zodi raises her lantern before her like a shield of light. It flares once brightly in response, and she nods to you, ready. Despite her bravado, you notice a slight trembling in her hand. The cage of her lantern rattles as Zodi waits for the battle to begin. Let's study the enemy. 20 Rautan junks plow towards you in perfect formation, their angular sails full, each armored vessel a deadly work of art. Sporting a dozen bronze cannons, soldiers stand at attention on the decks. This could be a mistake, but let them fight it out. Take us into the storm, Beardor. The deck presses against your feet as the Dow comes about. The thunder of the cannon fire ferry with thunder continuously rolling from the mortar. Your ship straightens, the bow pointed directly into the storm. You lurch forward as the deck pitches violently. You grate the aft rail to keep from going overboard. Beneath you, just below the surface of the water, swims some immense creature. It moves towards the battle, the water curling back like parted skin on the either side of the beast to reveal a monstrosity not of flesh, but of slick adra and gleaming metal. The surface of the water bulges, then bursts, and with a roar like a crash of the surf, the dragon explodes from the water. Familiar scaled form of that name, Skrillifus. Forgive me as I butcher it. Sweeps low, wings outstretched just above the white-tipped waves, before you spraying its briny breath over the metallic monster. The monstrosity turns on the sea dragon, and they slam into one another, tearing at each other with tooth and fang. Essence pours off the pair as they pound one another with their abilities at point blank. Oswald gasps. Sweet merciful Andra. I was not expecting that. Mess that bastard up good, shouts a Minnie. The hand turns back, pointing. Did you see that? We've got a damned dragon. Go now. While I hold the attention of these beings, the dragon voices echo among your thoughts. Our debts are cleared, Watcher. That's amazing. Handsome Elam turns from the carnage. Captain, we might not get another chance. All hands look to you. Let's see. For right now, I'm going to say number 1 instead of 2. So we've come this far. There's no turning back now. Eyes closed and face towards the black clouds, Ingram whispers, "Nor has there ever been. The path were set before Wywen marched on Deerwood." Elam nods. "Sometimes the only way back is forward." The mate calls across the deck. "All hands to stations. Time to show the gods what Dal be made of." Andra's mortar looms before you, and above you, dominating the whole of the world, rain begins to fall. The storms of Andra's mortar encompasses the visible horizon. Hurricane winds roar like an imprisoned beast, blowing with enough force to warp the very seas. Past the curtain of rain and above the swell of waves, you can just barely perceive the outline of colossal Andra pillars. You sail in the direction of the closest pillar, fighting the sea to keep a wide berth from the ravaging storm. Waves crash against the glowing surface of the Andra directly ahead. The Amancers are too busy to concern themselves with choppy waters. Shouting orders over the wind, the team coordinates the pulling of levers and spinning of wheels to activate their machine. Many of them plug their ears or murder prayers to their gods. Others stand enraptured gazing toward the approaching Andra with an air of accomplishment. Then the final lever is engaged. Nothing happens, and your ship remains on a collision course with the pillar. Oh boy. As you scramble to brace for impact, one of the Animancers breaks away to retrieve a copper device that fell to the deck. She snaps it back into its setting on the machine and whips a spray of water off her brow, grinning and flashing a hopeful signal. The machine spools to life at once, and the Andra responds in kind. Reality grows hazy around you. Point of the prow, forming a rift that swallows the tip of your vessel with no time to spare. The breach expands to accommodate the rest of your ship, allowing you to sail through without resistance. The air thickens on the far side of the rift as you bob along the ethereal tide. The Dow lifts a disconcerting angle, though your boots never leave the deck. With a gentle splash, Dow dips down into tangible waters as you maneuver through the other side of the rift. The turbulent winds and rains are at your back. Okaizo lies ahead. And that looks great! I'm excited. Ornate spires reaching up from the island, hinting at the city within. Not all of Okaizo has weathered the millennium with equal grace. Other structures jut and lean out of the surrounding shallows, making the waters around the island impassable by ship. You resolve to take a skiff the rest of the way. I gotta say, I loved how the dragon came back. Okaizo. Mid-spring. And before I started up this video, I checked the save for this, and it is exactly, in game time, 1 year and like a couple hours since the start of this game. You know, since I've started playing, and that's amazing. I bet these are going to come alive. I figured. You know, I didn't even think about the final party, but honestly, this group, yeah, I think that's good enough for the final.
With relish.
Glory be to God! I need to try something else. As good.
Actually, Palagina, get these ogres out. There we go.
I've got it now.
Yeah, heal Vatnir if you can. There we go.
Happy to oblige.
Actually, Vatnir, fire and then move. There you go.
I need to try something else.
There we go. There we go.
I'm listening. I'm listening.
Zodi, heal us up again one more time.
What can I do you for?
Onward.
There we go.
I need to try something else.
I know I've said this countless times, but these summons that Falcina and Pallegina
Watch me
have are fantastic. They've been helping us out a lot. Okay, I'm waiting for... There we go. All their health to get back. Let's go forward. Ooh, okay. Interesting. Okay, let's go to the Grand Promenade. 31 minutes. Oh, this looks pretty cool.
It's even scarier than in my dreams.
Let's first
take
take
care
a
of
look at this. Erosion has softened the bronze features, giving the proud statue a brooding air. Descending into the city would be suicide while the relentless storms rages on. A furious storm obscures the sprawling city below, but you can make out the shape of distant spires reaching up from the flooded ruins. Spirit winds tug on your soul with insistence, like a stern hand trying to pull a cloak from your back. You recall the last time you encountered a Baywick. It feels like a lifetime ago. So I'm going to turn to my companions. So here we are. Look to those who have accompanied you this far, who risked everything to face the confrontation ahead. So first and foremost, I'm going to thank Pallegina. Thanks for the company, Pallegina.
Once again, it seems you have led me into a divine mess. At least this time we will see the gods get what they deserve. And thanks to you, the company will benefit in the end. I am honored to have served with you, Watcher. You are and will always be my camarada.
Thank you, Pallegina. She steps close to you and thrusts out her hand. She holds her head high, the pupils of her golden eyes revealing a blue inner flame. I'm going to return the gesture by stepping close and grasping her forearm. As you clasp each other's arms, a wave of warmth flows from Pallegina into your body. With the physical warmth comes emotional warmth, a deep sense of pride and love for her country and its people. You catch a glimpse of the myriad cities of the Valiant Republics, the Duke Bell's pennants. You see merchants, artists, and animancers practicing their trades. You also see the face of many other paladins of the Brotherhood of the Five Suns. Though you do not sense warmth from her towards them, you do sense the same pride and respect. Finally, you see your own face amidst the throng of Valiant leaders and luminaries. You can feel Pallegina's admiration for you as a champion of her country. And then, gradually, the warmth slowly fades. You are staring into Pallegina's serene face again. She places her other hand atop yours before nodding and releasing your arm.
Let us go. Aethys awaits us.
Pallegina's golden eyes scan the ruins of Okaizo and the storm beyond. She folds her arms over her chest, prepared for whatever is yet to come. That was awesome. Let's go for Vatnir next. Ready to speak the dusk? Vatnir?
Perhaps you are the Dusk Speaker. I said a thing, thinking it a lie. Perhaps it was. Perhaps it wasn't. Who can say? It matters not. Let us do what you came here to do, and then let us leave.
So this beats the dark cupboard, eh, Faustina?
Hey, you make a compelling point. If I must choose between unending drudgery and a certain, if interesting, death, I might just pick death. A cosy if I don't leave an optimistic impression. I am glad to have come this far with you, Casita. Our chances of survival are as high as they are ever likely to be. May that give us the courage we need to take the next step forward.
Is there something on your mind, Zodi?
We gonna do this or what?
She licks her chapped lips, dark gaze narrowing as she takes in the sight of the ancient city's ruins. Raised high, her lantern casts hard shadows over the planes of her face.
If it's all the same to you, Watcher, I'd rather not miss the moment my god brings the darkness down upon us. I want to see Gon become the true deity of death.
Is that what you believe is going to happen?
How could it not? Gon is the aspect of death and decay. The other side of Aethys, who we know governs the process of rebirth. But Aethys died in the Saints' War, and now Gon is going to destroy reincarnation as we know it. Tell me, Watcher, can there be a god of light and birth if souls themselves can no longer be reborn?
She points her lantern toward the shadowed ruins in the distance, Okaizo's broken bones. No matter what happens with Aethys, you got my back, right? She doesn't answer for so long that you think she's not going to. Then she taps her blood-stained sickle against her thigh.
Sure, you can trust me at your back, even if you're going against my god.
But the words sound hollow, like a oblivious lie. She points her lantern, and once again. So was it worth it all, to chase down your god?
It was, and I'd do it again, only bloodier this time. Think of all the souls I could have gathered if I'd reaped them right from the living. I thought it'd be different, how it turned out, but I couldn't dream of any other way. Now then, shall we go face my god for one last time? Find out what it is we can or can't do in these end times. Whether we're meant to wither or thrive.
Let's go.
Consider me your second shadow.
I love that. I don't know. I really love that, that thought. So she thumbs the copper cage of her lantern, a subconscious attempt to reassure herself. I think we're ready as we can be. Let's go. And for those who haven't seen the previous videos and my earlier thoughts, I do plan, I think, we'll see what happens, but I do plan, I think, to destroy the wheel. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Alright, let's go to the spire. Because we can't go anywhere else. Alrighty.
I'll handle this.
The device atop the tower spins in wild, blurring revolutions. The air around you is still and calm. You stand in the eye of the storm, which has condoned off Andra's mortar from the rest of our Eora for thousands of years. You see an antiquated control panel. It levers engaged in positions of activation. Something about this place echoes with ancient awareness. Discorporate feelings of longing and distress reaches out to you. Your mind is assaulted with complex symbols and postures, most of them beyond your reckoning. As the sensation pulls away, you recognize that it left behind knowledge of water shaping as it existed long ago. Armed with this memory, a capable water shaper might wield the power of their ancestors. Ooh. You know what? Yeah. Takehu should find this interesting. A deep percussion shakes the tower by its roots. Somewhere in the obscurity of the storm, Aethys rears back his fist to deliver a mighty blow. The control panel has weathered the millennia better than the rest of the city. A layer of dust covers its elegant glass tubes and engraved copper levers, which appear both intact and fully functional. You grip the largest of the levers and bring it up to its starting position. The vibration of the machinery gradually slows and the turbulent winds grow calm.
The machine controlling the storm winds down. The clattering of its machinery settles into a low whir and then, at last, hiccups to a halt. Beyond the tower, the black, roiling clouds of Andra's mortar roll away from the ancient city of Ukaizo, with only a tired sigh of wind to see them off. And on that last breath of wind, comes to you a familiar sound. The ring of a bell. The bell's ringing is soft, not the clangor and torrent you've grown used to. It calls to your soul, and your soul yearns to follow it. Your soul flees from your body and into the beyond, chasing that sound. It leads you at last to Bareth's realm, to that cold platform and room of endless doors.
Watcher, your journey nears its conclusion.
The pallid night stands before you, her gaunt face impassive.
Finally, I am nearly free of all this.
Free of your duty to me, perhaps. But mine is not the only tie that binds you. You have gathered quite a few since we first spoke. Soon you will confront Aethys for what will likely be the final time. And you will do so as the Herald of Bareth, the only creature on the face of Eora to whom he will listen. Remember that.
The pallid night inclines her head to you, black hair hanging lank in her face. She steps back and cedes the floor to Helia with a small, resigned sigh.
If Aethys truly intends to go through with his mad plan to destroy the wheel, a generation's worth of souls will be trapped in the in-between. So many would suffer. How can Aethys be so cruel? He cannot just abandon them. Aethys must help the Kith find a quick solution.
Abaddon strides forward.
Aethys thrust this crisis on the Kith. They did not bring it upon themselves. Their only mistake was entrusting us to watch over them. Who will help them rebuild their world now?
Aethys will reveal every secret of the gods. Will Kith be able to change the established order if they have no wonder to inspire them? Aethys must help them resolve this quickly, lest every one of Eora's few remaining mysteries be laid plain.
With the wheel destroyed, Kith will tear themselves apart. It is the gods' duty to prevent that happening, lest they doom us all. And as Kith must be ruled, so too must the gods. I say that if Aethys is so eager to throw down the mantle of power and step aside, I shall take my rightful place as Queen of the Gods again.
Kith are strongest when they follow our lead, and we are strongest when we lead in turn. United in purpose with the gods, Kith can accomplish things that without us, they could never have even begun. They must be shown their boundaries to surpass them.
Kith will not solve Aethys' puzzle on their own. And without an established order to fight against, the bonds that bind them dissolve, and they fight amongst themselves.
I'll say this, no, we have to figure this out. Wait, hang on. Actually, you know what? How can we trust you to lead us after this?
You cannot trust us, and you never should have. Only the Kith may save themselves.
Boudica's firm hand is but the motherly smothering of Helia by another name. Mortals should have no special advantages. Only once Kith have striven to improve themselves through trial will they truly know their measure. Kith must suffer to find their strength if they are to survive the world into which Eothas drags them. Our intervention in your struggle would be a cruelty and counter to our purpose.
He lets his words hang in the air for a moment. Gaze, level with your own.
Indeed. Kith must discover for themselves what it is they are worth, and of what it is they are capable. What we do for them, they do not learn for themselves. Trial breeds ingenuity. If our work of generations was not in vain, Kith will succeed in spite of Eothas' actions. I have faith in Kith's ability to meet Eothas' challenge. Do not mistake my words for indifference, Watcher. They are born from a fierce belief in your potential, not a refutation of it.
I'm gonna say, one of you has tried to convince me that mortals are destined to fail, but I don't believe it.
And yet you come to Okaizo with only the Valians at your back. All that Kith stand to lose, and even then your leaders could not join hands, squabbling instead over prestige and resources. You believe that will change when my final death comes calling? You are a greater fool than I thought. Margaret is blinded by her affection for mortals. She does not see that entropy is the destiny of all things. If Eothas were wise, he would destroy everything. End life, end reincarnation, end death. Kith have had their chance. It is time to let silence reign.
As Rimmergon's words fade, the Pallid Knight returns. She no longer towers over you, a giant even among the gods, but meets you at your height. She lets the arms crossed over her chest fall to her sides. She speaks to you openly, plainly, an expression almost like tenderness, turning up the corners of her lips.
Well, Watcher, you know where we stand. What do you believe?
Oh well, I have a lot of things to say. I'm gonna say this: true change, lasting change, it demands sacrifice. The coming days will be hard. Will be better, the better for it.
Take care that you do not sacrifice all, Watcher. Only what you must. The things you stand to lose, lives, institutions, beliefs, you may lose for good. Now the time has come for us to part, Watcher. I laid upon you a difficult duty. You will be free of it in time, but not now. You have work to do yet. You are no stranger to hard choices. You killed Theos, and when his soul was laid bare before you, you chose to destroy it. You granted him peace. Remember the strength it took to make that choice, and know that you alone may sway Eothas now. When you stand before him, choose your words carefully.
The gods depart one by one in brooding silence. A solitary figure remains perfectly still until the last of her colleagues is out of earshot. Wodica peers down at you, a triumphant grin splitting her weathered features.
Okay.
Bareth is a fool if she thinks I'll let her enjoy the last word. You were trusted with a heavy responsibility, Watcher. Speaking for mortals, and representing their interests in the future to come.
Indeed. Did my choices teach you anything about us?
You are ambitious to favor the Valian republics. They shape their economy with reckless, if masterful, skill. But I fear that infighting and corruption will choke off their vision of progress in the end. Director Castal retains his authority. But how long before he must defend his position again? If he cannot control his people, he cannot control the Deadfire. Time and again, these merchants put short-sighted goals ahead of any long-term change. For that reason alone, I could never invest my hopes in their future. And yet, they have earned your confidence in a gamble that could decide the fate of all mortals. Why is that?
I do like 2 and 1. I'm gonna say number 2 though. I trust Pelagina. She's all the assurance I need.
Uh-huh. Consider my curiosity appeased. For now. In our grandest plans, you are a singularly unpredictable variable. You play a dangerous game by investing your hope in others. Deception and failure are woven into the fabric of mortals. I can safely promise that they will disappoint you before long.
I guess there isn't much more for us to say to each other.
Whether you heeded my wisdom or not, everything you've done to get this far has informed our view of mortal kind. I hope you're satisfied with your performance. We've learned much from each other.
Very well, Wodica.
Nothing could convince me that mortals are equipped to steward their future. Your efforts to prove me wrong were admirable, and my detractors will likely use your example to oppose my rule. The Valian Trading Company will no doubt devour itself from within, replacing one crisis with another. A difficult road lies ahead of me. Your alliances have made proving my argument an uphill battle. Well done, I suppose. Aethys will no doubt have a sunnier outlook on mortals and their chances of success. He already has everything he wants, so go and listen to his empty-headed idealism. The rest of us will be sharpening our blades, preparing for the future he lays out for us.
Consciousness returns in a wave at the last of the machine energy dissipates. The calming of the storm reveals the sprawling city around you like a sand whipped from a mosaic. You see the distant outline of Aethys raising his fist in triumph and purpose. Yeah, he's right there.
It is good to see you awake. It seems the storm has passed.
Gods and darnation. My head.
Peering over the edge of the tower, you make out a distant shape amid the ruins below. An iron-studded warship has dropped anchor in the shallows. Its cannons angled to the shore. The ship is nearly cracked in half, but the standard of the Royal Deadfire Company persists in the flapping with the breeze. The empty deck tells that the surviving crew have long since boarded a skiff and rowed to shore, which means you're no longer alone on Akaizo. If there ever was a place for a final standoff, it's Akaizo. Nice, and there he is. So yeah, let's start heading that way. I'm sure we'll have to face, you know, the Royal Deadfire. All right, I guess back to the Grand Promenade. Probably go to those stairs now. Also interesting, there's not really any music right now. Hasaniri Karo approaches, her weapon drawn. Her face is bruised and cut, and her uniform torn from the rough journey, but her eyes are clear and focused on you.
What you people from lush, bright lands fail to grasp is that Rauatai isn't a storm-tossed spit of land. It's the Kith who stand together there. Okaizo belongs to us. We've earned it with blood and sweat, and no one shall take it from us now.
Listen, I don't want to fight you.
This is greater than the two of us, Watcher. Rauataians, defend Ukaizo!
So be it. Alright, everybody, let's go after the soldier first, I think. Actually, you know what? No, let's go after this mage. Go.
Death take you!
Oh, I think this glitch happened again.
As one. As one.
I could be wrong, but there's no music, nothing. Oh my gosh, really?
Attack.
Yeah.
I was hoping this wouldn't happen.
We're dropping like flies.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know why that keeps happening.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's read
Gosh,
this whirlwind.
I'm hoping I can reload and it will fix it. I might have to close the game. I was hoping I wouldn't have to do this.
Onward. That was about as useful as a bump on a pickle.
It just sounds really funny without the music.
Let's reap this whirlwind.
Alright, and so they've fallen. Really didn't want to fight them, but alas. Oh, there it goes. Maybe. Actually, it still sounds like it's kind of glitched out. Maybe that's just the natural ambience? I don't know. I have a feeling that's not the case. Hang on, let me wait for Pallegina to, you know, get fully healed. Oh wait, she can't. So never mind. Let's do a final rest. And we're gonna do that. It's funny how I keep getting these glitches. Okay, so let me save it. And you know what? Let me do this. Let me actually quit to the title. See if that fixes it. Actually, I think you hear it still in the background. Uh-oh. Yeah, it's still in the background. Let me try to reload it. Yeah, once again, it's still glitched out. That is unfortunate.
Yes.
So, in that case, I didn't want to do this, but I'm going to have to do this. I'm gonna have to split this up and see, because I'm gonna have to close the game out. So I'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen. There we go. Alright, I hate having to split the video like that. But the music and everything else is back to normal, finally. But I don't want it to glitch out during this this final confrontation and whatnot. And hopefully nothing else messes up. So, all right, let's go to this. Let's finally confront Aethys.
You descend into the ancient winding streets of Ukaizo. Battered by storms for thousands of years, the ruins bear the marks of their role as the lone witnesses of the gods' great secret at the center of the city. The houses and boulevards are pierced by great spears of luminous Audra. There are no ashen bodies, no birds, no sign or sound of any life. But with every step, the rhythmic pounding in the distance draws nearer. Soon, you can feel the vibration traveling up your spine. As you approach the center of the city, the weathered architecture gives way to more luminous Audra, piercing the ruins, eventually overtaking them entirely. Cresting the top of a fallen tower, you finally get a clear view of Aethys. He stands, legs astride, next to a great stone monument ringed with 11 cavernous alcoves. All but 3 hold a gargantuan skeleton, bones scrubbed clean by the city's storms. An immense Anguithan machine floats above the monument, suspended by invisible energy emanating from a well of light beneath it. Great brass rings spin around a core of metal and Audra at the machine's center. Periodically, Aethys's massive arms swing back. The movement alone is enough to draw great gusts of wind toward him. When they come down on the machine, the impacts are accompanied by eruptions of electricity, fire, and smoke. The hundreds of luminous Audra pillars across Ukaizo sympathetically dim in a rippling wave that spreads out from the machine. The only safe route to the god is a steep ascent along a monstrous pillar of luminous Audra. Intertwined with fragments of Ukaizo's ruins that it has carried through the centuries, the pillar bends in a long arc, towering above the machine. The pillar levels out near Aethys's head, a silent observer to the destruction of the machine it has grown beside over thousands of years. You weave your way along a treacherous rain-slicked path up the pillar's skyward side. As you arrive at the top, you catch Aethys's attention. Fist pulled back, he pauses to observe you. With the same gentleness he showed at Ashen Maw, he lowers his arm and turns toward you.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, this is it. I'm excited to see where this goes. And hopefully no more bugs happen.
To see Ukaizo in this way. It may be hard to picture, but this city was once full of life. The Huana, yes, but also Kith from many other cultures. Great hanging trees shadowed these boulevards. Gardens sprawled across the open rooftops. Each spring, a festival procession would wind its way from the hillside into this valley. The celebrants would pass through a steep walk among the stalls of foreign merchants, flowers falling upon them from all sides. All people of all nations, together in a celebration of new life. Such was the power and beauty of lost Ukaizo.
Ukaizo's corpse is beautiful, my god. This, its current state, is but one spoke in the ever-turning wheel of life and death, and so no less worthy than its incarnation at birth. But you seek to break that wheel. I beseech you, Gon, that when you do it right. Burn to ash every Audra root in hell so that it may never regrow. Let the darkness reign eternal.
It saddens me that the harvesting of souls in my name has brought you to this place, Shoti. But I am the cause, and I must take responsibility for it. I can only hope that after I am gone, you will see there is a brighter future for mortals It is a future that you can help shape, even if you cannot see it now.
I want you to know. I appreciate what you are doing.
But Pallegina, you do so only because in this, you foresee the death of my kin. We have wronged you. We have wronged all mortals for far too long. But after this moment, you may see a change in my brothers and sisters. Humility can be good for the soul, even a god's.
Indeed.
But what of you, Watcher? Why have you followed me? Have you come to bear witness to the breaking of the wheel?
Ooh, a lot of good choices here. Not come to fight you. No. No, 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 no. Destroy it all? Oh, wow. No, I don't know about that. So yeah, I'm gonna say only to bear witness.
You are welcome to do so. Indulge me in a moment's curiosity. There is something I wish to know about Eora, about Kith, that I can only learn through your eyes.
The audio just became a little weird. That's okay. Hopefully it resets. We'll see. Go on.
You followed me all this way, dodging an armada, navigating an impenetrable wall of storms, voyaging across uncharted seas, with the machinations of gods echoing in your ears, all the while trusting in the institutions of Kith to get you this far, and earning their trust in turn. Whatever else happens this day, that much is remarkable. I believe that mortals possess the strength to collaborate and shape a future of their own design. Not all of my brothers and sisters agree. By relying on others and coming together in a time of crisis, you illustrate my point. The gods will witness you and question their assumptions about how responsible, empathetic, and sophisticated mortals can be. What inspired your decision, Watcher? Did the choice echo your foundational beliefs? Or were you influenced by observation?
Personally, I wanted to prove Woodica wrong. She thinks mortal cooperation is destined to fail.
Woodica has been especially active since the downfall of her favorite operative. Have you ever considered that she is mentoring his replacement?
Interesting. I won't dismiss the idea entirely.
My brothers and sisters never act when the gains are strictly short-term. If Woodica's shadow has fallen upon you, that can only mean she recognizes your potential to further her ambition. I thank you for your perspective. Yours is not the only opinion that concerns me, but for the moment, it offers much to consider. All I ever wanted for mortals was growth, transformation. Once, my brothers and sisters shared this goal. Some have forgotten themselves, giving into fatalism or tyranny. Others have succumbed to apathy.
And I'm reminded of KOTOR 2, given that line. Anyways.
It brings me great sorrow that crisis is the only way to set the future in motion. Would that I could pass the responsibility of heralding your darkest hour to another. Never forget that trust and coordination between mortals brought you to this place. Your future is built on a foundation of hope, and you have laid the first stone.
Before this is over, it's my turn to ask the questions.
Ask. You are entitled to any answer that is mine to give.
So you had millennia to do this. Why now?
For several reasons. My strength was diminished after the Godhammer bomb, and assuming this form took incredible effort. With so many vying for control of the Deadfire, I also saw a ripe opportunity for mortals to cast aside their differences and stand together as one. They have never been more powerful, more capable. Because of this, the gods must justify their importance or be proven obsolete.
So what happens after the wheel breaks?
The great work of the Ingwithans falls to ruin. Reincarnation as we know it will end. Souls which currently await new life in the beyond will be born into the world as normal, but their numbers will not replenish. Anything that dies will tarry in the void of the in-between, awaiting the motion of a wheel that no longer turns. Once the beyond has emptied, every birth will be hollow-born. Other maladies of the soul may follow and plague those who linger in life. Unless mortals work together to carve a new path, the essence of life will be trapped in the netherworld. Gods will starve. Eora will grow silent and cold.
So Wodaka sees this as a test, one we're destined to fail.
Wodaka is entitled to her opinion. If the intent of this test is to justify an uprising to come, that is more worrisome. The other gods must decide for themselves if mortals are ready to dictate their future. Should Wodaka's tyranny prove the only alternative, mortals must prepare for a terrible conflict. Your perspective bridges eternity, Watcher. Many will look to you to mediate differences that could shake the very foundations of Eora.
I think that's all I wanted to know. What happens next?
I must attend to my final work now. I cannot delay any longer.
And the audio is gone back. Hopefully all of you can, could hear this just fine. I think you could. So anyways.
You have carried a heavy burden across the Deadfire, Watcher. Before I go, I would rid you of it.
No sooner have Aethys' words entered your mind than you hear one final disorient ring of the chime within you, and silence. The knot that formed when the Pallid Knight first addressed you in the beyond is now gone.
You are free now, as free as any of us can be. Many will come to you for help in the years ahead. Animancers, priests, even the gods themselves. I have great hope for you, but always remember that your future is for you to decide. Use your freedom well.
Aethys squares himself to the machine. As you move to a safe distance, he draws his fist back and resumes his assault. The blows rain down with increased fervor, but the machine perseveres in spite of his efforts. Spreading his arms wide, Aethys draws power from the luminous Audra clustered around the valley. The energy courses through his body, limbs overflowing with intense light and waves of heat. He returns to his task, each strike bringing with it the sound of cracking stone and twisting metal, the flickering of luminous Audra across Ukaizo. As the ancient machine finally begins to succumb to his strength, so too does Aethys' body, built to withstand the passage of thousands of years. The great Audra statue has finally been pushed beyond its limits. Cracks appear along the hands, then race up the arms. Aethys does not slow his assault, but continues unabated. Its brass rings twisted, the machine spins erratically but withstands the relentless barrage. Aethys stands astride it and pummels the base of the machine. Soul energy begins to flare out from the machine's heart, warping the air with the intense heat. Aethys drives his right fist into the machine's center, the core of metal and Audra. The god lets out a deafening shout, something between a cry of anguish and a roar of exultation. You see Aethys' arm shatter upward from his hand through his elbow. A flash of light and heat bursts from the core, accompanied by a cacophony of destruction. The moment passes as Aethys' shout echoes throughout the valley. Your eyes begin to recover. The god's work is accomplished. The great machine of Ukaizo has been destroyed. The wheel has been unmade.
And time to see the consequences of that.
As Aethys' voice fades, the enormity of what you've accomplished sinks in. You have confronted a god. You have rediscovered the ancient city where the wheel was forged, and you have seen the wheel shattered. What comes next is uncertain, but already the legend spreads of the Watcher, who survived Andra's mortar and stood toe-to-toe with Aethys. Maras Nua's body finally goes still amidst the rubble of the Angwithan machines, yet it continues to glow. Priests and mystics have strange dreams of an island of eternal dawn at the eye of a storm, a port where the tide never flows out, a roadside tavern whose door leads only inward. As a watcher, you see what these dreamers cannot. The souls of the departed drifting toward the Audra Colossus and the twilit afterlife within. Whether it is a temporary haven or a permanent end will depend on what the Kith of Eora are able to accomplish on their own. The greatest hope seems to lie in animancy, which the burgeoning Valian Trading Company explores with newfound purpose and vigor. And while Maras Nua stands frozen over Ukaizo, the gods look on the labors of Kith, but they do not intervene. They watch and argue, wager and conjecture at how or whether mortals will solve the puzzle set before them. At Ukaizo, the Valian Trading Company discovers a cornucopia of Angwithan devices and artifacts, as well as vast reserves of luminous Audra. Under Director Castal's leadership, the company is poised to become not only the foremost authority on animancy, but also the dominant power in Deadfire. The Songreta Mea Compressa quickly approves the construction of an academy at Ukaizo, in addition to several permanent settlements. With the Kahanga monarch reduced to a figurehead, the Huana tribes fragment further. Some profit by working with the Valiants, and others find themselves evicted from their old lands. But for many, life continues much as it had before.
I'm gonna pause right here. That final sentence, I think that's kind of what I was kind of hoping for, other than whatever Rautai might have been, because I feel like, I don't know, I feel like it could have been bad. Anyways, let's continue with this.
The Valians' business interests trump their enmity, and they allow most of the Royal Deadfire Company's ships and personnel to remain in the archipelago to trade. Rauatai's legendary cannons pose little threat to them now. After all, the Valians could not want for better leverage than Andra's Spire.
And see, again, I'll pause again, but this is what I also like, that they, allow most of the Deadfire's ships, to remain and to trade. And I feel like if it was Rauatai or anybody else, I don't know.
The storms across the Rauataian mainland subside along with those of Andra's mortar. However, Rauatai regards this respite with a wary eye, ever mindful that the machinery at Andra's Spire remains under their foes' control. The influx of Valian business into Deadfire creates an unprecedented opportunity for the Principes and Patrena. Though their dreams of conquest have been squashed, there are more than enough prizes passing through to keep the captains in silk and their crews fed and content. And business is good enough that the Songreta is willing to write off more than a few losses with each transit. The mysterious deaths of Governor Clario and Storm Speaker Ikawa provoke hostilities between the Valian settlers and the Huawan residents. What starts with angry words escalates to retaliatory killings as each side blames the other. By the time anyone bothers to question the strange coincidences surrounding their deaths, including reports of a cloaked Omawi woman seen in both the port and the village, both sides have gone too far to turn back. The conflict eventually draws the attention of the Songreta Mea Compressa. They dispatch a mercenary company to subdue the remaining Juana and select a strict hardliner to replace Clario. Port Mage becomes a cautionary tale for Juana tribes that would consider violence against the Valian Trading Company. As the balance of power changes in Deadfire, so too does Nekataka transform. The Valian Trading Company builds up the port in Queensbirth. The company's expanding presence, however, quickly outgrows the dockside district. Company facilities and personnel spread throughout Nekataka. The Kahanga leadership takes responsibility for the welfare of the Raparu, and the Gullet starts to improve. What was once a den of crime, poverty, and illness slowly becomes a quiet haven for the Raparu. Though the loss of Skiarilafis's essence weakens the Water Shapers Guild, Animancers with the Valian Trading Company offer a proposition. In exchange for knowledge of water shaping, they will develop a new source of essence for the Guild. Some of the elders balk at sharing their secrets with foreigners, but the partnership that follows proves fruitful for the Guild as well as the Animancers.
And again, I know I'm pausing again, but I love, with this, the cooperation again. Yeah, they have their differences, and I know, also, given the previous slides, us carrying out those assassinations, I know there's still some conflicts there, but they're still working, it seems, working for the better, but let's continue.
Your brief encounter with Letharn proves deeply influential for the children of the Dawnstars. Plagued with nightmares and haunted by the deaths at Hesango, Letharn begins questioning his faith in Aethys. At first, his fellow Dawnstars chide him, but that changes as word of Aethys's deeds at Ukaizo spreads. After all, what business have they worshipping a god who denied his own legitimacy? The children of the Dawnstars respond to Aethys's sacrifice by taking up the lanterns and sickles of the Harvesters of Gone. They become pilgrims of essence, gathering souls across Eora and ferrying them to the haven within the Adra Colossus. Others will repair or rebuild the wheel one day. In the meantime, the Dawnstars will care for the souls of the dead. Ruanu, the chieftain of the Juana at Tikawara, dies mysteriously. The tribe finds his body washed up on the same beach where Anaharu challenged him to the trial of waves. Some blame Anaharu's vengeful spirit. Others see it as Ngati's final judgment. And a few speak of a strange man seen lingering in the village. The leaderless tribe eventually scatters. Some head to Nekataka, while others seek out the Wahaki. Ships continue to disappear at the southeastern fringe of the archipelago, and stories circulate of a colony of vampires and gulls preying on their crews.
Whoops, one thing I forgot to finish up, but that's okay.
The dragon, Neraskirlas, no longer passes between Eora and the White Void, and the dead flow slowly breaks apart, exposing the temple long frozen within. Under Halfjorn's guidance, the Harbingers of Dusk resettle within Remergon's temple, vowing to forever protect it from the defiling touch of outsiders. Over time, the group becomes increasingly reclusive and fanatical, attacking any who dare approach their holy site. The chime of Remergond continues to pulse coldly within your breast. Though the beast of winter rarely intrudes upon you, the chill within your soul promises that you will return to his dominion in the end. Word spreads of the primal island of Kazuwari, once home to an arena that hosted bloody competitions and fearsome ordeals. Wild tales whisper that the spilled blood attracted a terrible beast of scale and fang that slaughtered those gathered at the island before destroying the great enchanted statue that oversaw the island's trials. Absent its guiding voice, Kazuwari descends into anarchy.
And once again, didn't finish, chose not to finish that DLC, so that's the result of that.
Encouraged by her arcane successes, Bakarna returns to her observatory to continue her studies of the celestial spheres. In time, her colleagues in the Circle of Archmagi come to accept her among their number. She takes on apprentices, and they trumpet her praises as both a brilliant innovator and nurturing pedagogue. Consul Hot's ascension to near divinity shocks the Circle of Archmagi, who are uncharacteristically rapid and unified in their response. Immediate and violent censure of the Lich. Consul Hot's titanic form weathers the magical attack, however, before disappearing into the depths of the Deadfire. He likely lurks in the deepest darkness of Andra's realm, plotting, scheming, and awaiting a time he might rise again to reclaim his rightful authority. The Oracle of Wow continues to use the God Seed to develop and twist the titanic form of Wow, and not even the Archmages above know the full extent to which its sprawling tendrils infect the Black Isles. Though your adventures alter the destiny of Eora and the balance of power in Deadfire, they also leave a lasting mark on those who travel at your side. Your companions find themselves changed, in ways both big and small. Adair returns to Hisango, where he reunites with Byrne, the son of his former lover, Alava. The boy takes heart in Adair's account that Aethys and all the other gods were false, petty, and unworthy of the love of Kith. Realizing how close he came to dying for this cause, Byrne finds renewed purpose in working alongside his uncle to repair the many scars left upon Deadfire by the gods. Under Adair's guidance, Byrne grows into the kind of irreverent, stubborn hothead that would have made his mother proud. And Adair visits her gravesite, often to tell her so. It's hard not to notice how Shodi follows Maya everywhere she goes. The two seem nigh inseparable, and can often be found talking, laughing, fishing and target practicing, or sharing drinks and kisses before sneaking below decks for some privacy.
Yes, I'm so happy their romance continued.
Shodi is not a priestess who understands the meaning of subtlety. As such, she makes her girlish crush on Adair painfully obvious from the moment she first sets eyes on the strapping fighter. Early in your travels, Adair appears discomforted by her persistent flirting. He often grimaces when she sidles up to him, and he takes endless pains to keep their conversations terse and to the point. But after a little smoothing on your part to nudge them in the right direction, Adair makes an effort to view Shodi with an open mind, and Shodi begins teasing the veteran fighter in a more companionable and less amorous manner. After saving each other's hides a couple times and sharing more than a few laughs, the two form an easy, and you suspect, lifelong friendship.
That's awesome.
Plagued by constant nightmares and hallucinations, Shodi becomes increasingly disassociated from reality.
Oh no.
Meanwhile, her power continues to grow with every soul she harvests. You start to notice sliced up animal corpses everywhere you two travel. But when confronted about it, Shodi stomps her feet and fiercely denies any wrongdoing. Then, one night, Shodi wakes, but never leaves the nightmare. Shivering uncontrollably, she packs up her belongings and slips away into the darkness, murmuring that she must return to the Temple of Gon in order to fulfill her purpose to her god. But she never reaches the temple. None of the Dawn Stars know what's become of her, aside from disturbing rumors of a harvester ravaging the southeastern islands in the Deadfire, leaving a trail of blood in her wake.
Oh no! That's... Dang, okay.
Aloth renews his commitment to transforming the Leaden Key from a tool of secrecy and oppression into a watchdog organization. With the wheel broken, he reasons the world will need wise and responsible leadership more than ever. It is a lofty goal, and one he does not expect to finish in his lifetime. But if there's one thing he's learned from the Watcher, it's that a single person can change the world. You let Romaro go, and the former pirate ostensibly set sail for the trade lanes of the Eastern Reach, the Edier Empire, Old Valia, and the Republics. For the remainder of your time together, Seraphin seems, if not exactly happy, at least contented with the outcome of your confrontation with his former mentor at Sayuka. When he leaves, he does so with little fanfare. Nothing but a roughly scrawled note slipped under your door. Be seeing you, Cap. You hear of Seraphin from time to time, in rumors and sea tales. He prowls the Deadfire, a brutally efficient killer, never long for any ship and never close to any crew. For assisting the Watcher in securing Ukaizo for the Valian Trading Company, Pallegina is honored in a ceremony at Biajepe, attended by all 5 of the Duke's bells. Duke Ramasi is so overjoyed by his good fortune that he offers Pallegina a boon. She immediately takes the Duke up on his offer by requesting that the ducal charter of the Fremas Mes Conqusualias be amended to allow the admission of women. Soberly, the Duke accepts, much to his chagrin. The following spring, the Brotherhood admits its first 5 girl cadets.
Amazing. As they should.
Following her triumphant return to the Republics, Pallegina is assigned to be the personal guard of the Duchess Sparento. She excels in this role, and is favored by the Duchess above all other members of the Brotherhood. Their close relationship causes friction with the Duchess's husband, the Kanta Maraba. His impotent annoyance becomes the subject of courtly gossip, and the inspiration for a well-received farce, staged at the biggest theater in Otsia. Despite her good fortunes in the Deadfire, Pallegina mourns the loss of Jackalow for years. She curses herself for not finding her friend sooner, for not protecting him from Captain Tutzadl and his crew. On a few lonely nights, Pallegina composes letters to the Watcher, asking what more they could have done to save him. They are never sent. Time away from the Navy gives Maya Rua some perspective on how Rawatai conducted the Deadfire occupation. No sooner does she return to active duty than she voices her frustrations over some of the more underhanded tactics she witnessed and carried out in the name of the homeland. Her voice carries all the way to the Ranganui, who reminds his admirals that battles are won by superior tactics, but war is a battle of precedent, and winning is not always a victory. The people listen.
All right.
Though Mayo's covert assignment in the Deadfire is considered a success, few claim knowledge of it or openly congratulate her. She receives no praise beyond knowing glances or the occasional raised tankard from her countrymen. She never responds. Whenever you come across Maya, Shodi is never far off. The two of them spend every available hour sharing stories over drinks, dangling their feet over docks, or exploring strange temples by the light of Shodi's lantern. They're good for each other, and they both seem to know it.
Awesome. I was hoping for a good outcome for, Maya and Zodi, above all else. So.
She looks forward to seeing her brother again. So does Ashiza. Takehu distances himself from the problems of the Deadfire, giving the tribes a reprieve from godlike omens. Ngati's silence speaks volumes. The Huana grow to rely on each other, paving a new way forward divorced from their traditions. Soon after his departure from Nekataka, sailors report of mountainous water sculptures rising from the open sea, entrancing and salacious. These works are celebrated everywhere, from the brothel to the palace. though the identity of the artist remains an open question. Your farewell is short and cordial. Nothing further needs to be said, and you wish each other well. Takehu does not look back. The sea feels restless in his absence. Your pursuit of Aethys and your journey to Ukaizo signal the end of forces that have shaped the lives of Kith and the course of nations. The cycle of reincarnation has been broken. The storms of Andra's mortar have calmed. Yet each ending promises a new beginning. As the sun rises over Ukaizo, Kith turn their gaze eastward, wondering at what lies beyond, and at the world they will fashion for themselves. As the Watcher of Cadnua and the former Herald of Bareth, you return to your ship and begin the long journey home. You hope for calm weather.
Well, oh, there we go. Okay, I was about to say, I thought there'd be credits, but I wasn't sure. I thought it might crash, and I was hoping that wouldn't be the case. That was amazing. I don't know, that was a lot of good stuff. I loved all the ending choices. And yeah, just everything about it. That was amazing. Props to all the developers. I know I'm going to probably speed through these credits here in a second. But that was fantastic. I will have to go back, replay this, and you know, see what the other choices are, how everything, you know, turns out with other factions and just kind of going alone and whatnot. Loved all the endings for all the companions. Well, I say that. I mean, some of them could have been better. Some of them could have been a lot better. But I was rooting for, you know, Maya and Zodi at the end. And it happened. They, you know, relationship continued. I was really happy to finally, like for Palagina and all, to help her out. And the others, you know, Adair, even though I didn't have Adair in the party, it seemed to work out for him and his boy. And I don't know, just the whole thing, it was well done. Here, let me speed through this. But yeah, their next game, what am I thinking of? Avowed? I'm really looking forward to that one. And whenever that comes out, it'll probably be a couple more years, but I probably will do something on that whenever it does. But I will say, I think I did enjoy this one a lot more than the first game. But still, it kind of also makes me want to just go through the whole series again. It was really well done. And now we're back at the beginning, or at the main menu. Gosh, that was so good. I don't think I have anything else, you know, to really say. I know I might, you know, I guess cut that short. But I mean, I could just keep saying it. You know, it was really well done. So, anyways, all of you who's made it through these videos, through this series, if you haven't, if this is your first video coming in, you can come back, like, you know, go back and see the other ones. But it's been a lot of fun. So thank you, all of you, for tuning in. I greatly appreciate it. Wherever you guys are, have a good day, have a good night, and take it easy, everyone.